The Rock Whisperer. Do you hear the earth talking to you?
The Weather Unit. Weather Source Regions 5-2. So where does the air come from that we have that makes up our weather? So there's a couple terms that we need to know before we can go on and discuss where those areas come from. First term is continental. Comes from the word continent, and that refers to a large landmass, and that's going to give us dry weather. Maritime refers to the ocean, which is going to give us wet weather. The next two should be pretty self-explanatory. Polar refers to cold, and tropical refers to hot. So when we put those terms together, we can get different types of air masses that come from different areas. Lowercase c, capital P, means continental, polar. Continental meaning dry because it comes from the land, and polar meaning cold. So we have a continental polar would be a cold, dry air mass. Maritime polar, maritime meaning moist, coming from the ocean, and then polar meaning cold. Continental tropical means continental, again, is dry because we're over the land, and tropical meaning warm. And then the last one would be maritime tropical. Again, maritime coming from the ocean means moist, and tropical means warm. So these air masses come from different places around North America. The maritime air masses are going to come from over the ocean. That could be the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean. If they are tropical, that area is going to be closer to the equator, or 23.5 degrees north, which is the Tropic of Cancer. If they're polar, they're going to be up off the coast of Canada. If they are continental, we can talk about continental tropical being over Texas, Arizona area, or we could talk about continental polar that's coming from Canada. And at the time of we're doing this video, we're having really cold temperatures, and they talk about an Arctic front. So our Arctic front is coming up from the North Pole, then it dips down over part of the United States because of the jet stream. So one last picture kind of tells you the same type of thing. So we can look at this particular picture here, and this one will show us all our different air masses and kind of labels them for you. And this is the one that you have in your note packet. A little bit bigger, maritime polar, and shows you where they're coming from. But one of the key things we need to know is what goes on here in the center of the United States. So I'm going to take this picture right here and make it a little bit bigger for you to see. But we see the cold, dry air mass meet with the warm air mass. And we talked about that one video, the weather from the BBC, talking about when those two air masses meet, you wind up with a lot of tornadoes or a lot of severe weather. And we know that the Midwest is famous for Tornado Alley and some very severe weather. That can also occur coming up this way, even up through New York State.
Don't forget to listen to the earth. You just may hear it speak.